Hello, I'm Matthew Goodwin-Freeman, Chief Editor here at VoteWatch, and I'm joined by Gabriele Montone, and we are talking everything Trump, as you can sort of tell by our caps. It is obviously Trump 2.0. He has had, well, the inauguration is on Monday, depending on when this goes out. He's either had it or he's having it or it's about to happen. Trump 2.0, a second presidential term for him, but not sequentially, one of the few people to do that. Gabriele, are you happy or are you, commiserations? Were you hoping for Kamala Harris?
No, I was definitely not hoping for Kamala. Regardless,
We got to be careful how we pronounce her name as well. It changed depending on who the audience was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't really know because I see Democrats as well, mixing it up sometimes. So I don't know if I'm being gaslit here or
Probably.
I mean, the way I always say is Kamala. Maybe that's influenced by Trump.
Yeah, could be. So, are you happy? Trump 2.0, obviously. What have we got to look forward to? The first few days of office.
Well, we're looking forward to entertainment generally. I'm happy because I live in the UK, and it doesn't really matter to me. Trump, America's still the sort of global leader. So we will have experience some of the effects if Trump starts doing like really crazy stuff. But essentially, I'm just looking at 4 years of entertainment, 4 years of some interesting, maybe Supreme Court cases. Versus USA was very interesting. Now the president has, broad sweeping immunity for criminal actions as well. So that's very interesting. What Trump will be able to get away with this time. That will be exciting.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you brought up the criminal word. I do want to remind everyone, obviously, Trump is the first convicted felon to be president of the United States. I mean, did that really matter in the end? I mean, I thought personally, I personally thought America won't elect him. Like, he's been on the outskirts for the last 4 years. He's gone and had all these court cases against him. He was convicted, regardless of what your thoughts are about whether he should have or shouldn't have. He was convicted, and I just thought, surely there's enough people in America who just there's one of these would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But he seems to just rode through it and ends up with incredible, the House, the Senate, the White House, and obviously he's got the Supreme Court as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to look at it legally, if let's say, for example, New York, a New York court sentenced him to a term in jail. I mean, Trump is now the commander in chief. It's going to be the NYPD versus the U.S. military. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't place much stock in the NYPD coming out on top on that one. But it seems like the American people don't really mind that that Trump has done all these crimes. A lot of it, I think, is that they just don't know what has happened. I mean, if you talk to the average Republican voter, I don't think they know about the fake electors plot. I don't think they know about the communications Roger Stone was having with Russian hackers in relation to the Hillary's email case. I don't think they know a lot of things that was going on. Trump communicating with his DOJ to send out fraudulent letters to the states claiming that they had found voter fraud, which they hadn't, so as to stop counting votes or throw out the slate of electors in those swing states. So there's a lot of things here that came out in the Jan 6 committee, which are either just completely disregarded by Republicans or they just don't know about.
And do you think, you compared it to here in the UK? I mean, here we've obviously got 2-tier free gear, never hear son of a toolmaker Keir. I sort of just think, you like that one, didn't you? I sort of just think America, I look online and everywhere I just see Americans proud and passionate. The Star Spangled Banner's there. They're so proud. They're ready to go, raring for 2.0. And it's going to be booming for business and America and all of this. And you sort of think, Why can't we have a bit of that? Like, what's going on here? I wonder if Trump's second term is actually going to cause a lot of problems for us here in the UK. Keir Starmer wasn't invited to the inauguration, while some other world leaders have been. I wonder if this is going to be a bit of a difficult situation. I mean, we've already got the Chagos Islands, and Keir Starmer and Trump are going to have a head-to-head about that, I think.
Yeah. In terms of Chagos, I do hope America intervenes. I am very happy that it looks like we're having the sort of hawkish international policy Republicans coming back. I wasn't too happy about the direction Trump was going before in terms of the American isolationism. I want America to be involved in conflicts abroad. America protects global shipping. It has the largest army in the world. Trump has already said they're going to be investing a lot in the Navy, which they should do, because if anything happens, for example, like the Houthis attacks on the ships, America is the one defending us from things like that. So I think they should be more hawkish in terms of their foreign policy.
But do you think there's a bit of a worry about, obviously NATO has been something Trump's been very hot about, saying to other NATO members, you've got to get up to the funding levels or else America isn't actually going to defend you if you get attacked. I mean, do you worry that with everything we're seeing with Russia and Ukraine, China and Taiwan, everything in the Middle East, do you worry that actually Trump might follow through with that and might actually, bring the downfall of NATO almost? Or is that just talking business?
The thing is, every time Trump is asked about his plans in terms of foreign policy, he often says to reporters, I can't tell you anything. I can't say that. I couldn't say now because as if this will somehow hinder his grand plans. I mean, maybe sometimes, but you can't just answer every question with, it's all sort of a secret that we just have to, trust me, bro. In a sense, just trust me, bro. Like, we need to know something.
The thing as well is, I mean, I was talking the other day in a different interview how before Trump's even become president, he's having an impact. This deal with Israel and Hamas, so many people are saying that actually this was by Trump a few weeks ago saying it better be dealt with by the time I come into office or else there's going to be hell to pay. And a lot of commentators are saying that actually he put the pressure, his team put the pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu and on Hamas to get this over the line. We've talked, Canada. Is Trump going to make Canada another state? Greenland. Trump wants Greenland for some strategic reason. Like, obviously, NATO, the Middle East. Is this what Trump's 2.0 inbox is going to be? An in-tray of claim that, take that, deal with that? Is that the foreign policy you're expecting?
The thing is, regarding the deals he's making when he's out of office, I don't know to what extent that violates the Logan Act, which, I mean, you cannot represent the United States if you're not an elected official yet. I mean, he's not president yet. I don't think he even should be legally doing these things. But then we've seen this before with, I think, Reagan.
Yeah, he's a businessman.
Reagan made these sorts of deals outside of office, so... Yeah, he's a businessman. He's making deals. I don't know. I don't particularly like the deal that's happened in Israel right now. I think a Hamas future for Gaza should have been a non-starter. I don't know. I don't know why there were no provisions made to keep Hamas out of government.
And every deal that seems to be is like 1 or 2 hostages in return to 1 or 2,000 terrorists or criminals being released, in Hamas's favor. So I've never understood those deals.
And by the way, the hostages can be returned dead. Also,
this is the other thing. They're gonna, we've had the first few names released of who's going to be, released and let out. There are huge question marks about whether some of them are still alive or not. And we don't know this. So you're completely right. I was on that Logan Act. Do we have that here in the UK? Because I'd love Tony Blair to shut up, and stop getting involved and just drift off into the abyss. Can we have that here, please? Is there any mechanism?
Look, I mean, I'm not sure if we have it here, but I mean, giving advice or giving commentary. I don't know to what extent Blair does this, but I mean, obviously you can do that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like sending delegations to other countries on behalf of your incoming administration, I know Biden invited some of them, but some of them I think is just, Trump doing his own Trumpian thing. So I don't know. Obviously, the Supreme Court's not going to.
No.
Probably will throw this case out, but yeah.
Well, Supreme Court obviously made a decision about TikTok the other day. TikTok, we're recording this on Sunday. TikTok's gone black on social media in the US. You can't get TikTok at the moment over there. It has this brilliant error message saying, for now, you can't use us, but Trump's already said he's going to give us 90 days to sort things out. So you'll see us soon, hopefully. I mean, the argument from the Supreme Court side is TikTok is effectively China just spying on us. That's what it is. Do you believe that? Or is there, do you think there's more to this? Do you think even government should be stepping in on social media? We've seen X obviously bought on by Elon Musk and just made this plethora of free speech and say what you want. What's your thoughts on the whole TikTok thing?
I'll come to the last point. I don't think X is just say what you want. I think it's just censorship in different clothes. But in terms of the TikTok ban, it was funny when I was listening to the oral arguments before the Supreme Court. There was like a toing and froing between this is a national security risk because of the data side of things, and this is influencing Americans badly in terms of the content. When you talk about content, that's a First Amendment. That's a First Amendment provision, even if it's a foreign company, I think. And that requires strict scrutiny in front of before the justices. So I don't think it would pass on those grounds. But I think, there is probably an issue with the sort of amount of data that they can gather, regardless of the content that's being put on the site.
Well, fortunately, everyone in the UK can still watch TikTok, so all of them better go and follow VoteWatch and, help us with that at least. And then soon the American friends will be able to join us too. And look, let's come back to Trump. So obviously Trump was elected back in November with this weird period in America where everyone just sort of gets ready for the new president. Here in the UK, obviously, you have your election on Thursday, Friday morning, new PMs in the door at number 10, speech, cabinet announced, and on you go with the new term. Like, what have we seen over the last few months? Do we know more about Trump's cabinet? I mean, there was that situation with the guy, was he was going to be a defense secretary or something like that, and then didn't because there was a report about him, or like what's Trump's cabinet? What's going on?
Yeah, so we've had the cabinet announcements. We've had some hearings before Congress. Obviously, cabinet members serve with the consent and advice of Senate. That's right in constitutional terms.
So you always have to have an interview, like a pre-job interview by Senate.
It's sort of like an interview, and Senate advises, and then they vote on it. I'm not sure how constitutional the vote is. I don't think it is in the Constitution that they have to vote on it. It's just like with consent. I think we've interpreted that as they have to pass by a majority vote. But don't quote me on that bit.
That's all right.
So we've had controversially Pete Hegseth and I think Pam Bondi. Yeah, so Pete Hegseth for defense and Pam Bondi for the DOJ. Very strange interviews. Neither of them want to answer questions. Specifically, neither of them wanted to answer questions relating to a hypothetical situation where Trump was to give an illegal order. Would they carry out that order? Right. Both of them would not answer the question whatsoever. They avoided it. They were saying, I'm not going to answer hypothetical situations. But President Donald Trump would not give me an illegal order. I mean, come on, guys, work within the hypothetical. And
but by the way, but didn't he? Well, I don't know. Didn't he give an illegal order to Mike Pence last time to say ignore the result, ignore the vote, keep me as president?
Yeah, not only to Mike Pence. It is absolutely. Yeah. So not only to Mike Pence, but to others. So his old DOJ. So it isn't really hypothetical in that sense. I mean, he has given illegal orders in the past. For example, sending letters to swing states to claim that they had found votes for them. They hadn't, in fact. Most notably, though, to his vice president, telling him to throw out the fraudulent votes and to count Trump's preferred slates of electors. This is part of the fake electors plot. I won't go into it because it's quite long. But I mean, if anyone wants to look up the fake electors plot, this should be a Netflix film or something like that.
Is it better than Meghan Markle's whatever?
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, the details of that are crazy. And I mean, I just want to. I have some quotes regarding Trump speaking to Pence. These came out in the congressional hearings. So the context of this is Trump is trying to get Mike Pence to only count the fake electoral, the fake slates of electors that he has sent in from the swing states. Trump said, if these people say that you have the power, wouldn't you want to? These people are Trump's lawyers, which is Kenneth Chesebro, who created the fake elector scheme. So Kenneth Chesebro is telling Pence, you can do this, you have the power to do this. Pence says, I wouldn't want any one person to have that authority. Trump says, but wouldn't it almost be cool to have that power? You don't understand, Mike. You can do this. I don't want to be your friend anymore if you don't do this.
Oh, God. Poor Mike Pence. He's not going to be able to sit next to Donald in the canteen.
Exactly. I mean, it is so childish and, quite disturbing. But so, Mike Pence left after this. I just want to know, this is a testament to Mike Pence's loyalty to the Constitution over Trump, something that I don't think Trump's new cabinet picks have.
No.
This was the only thing that stopped the fake electors plot. And this is why Mike Pence is not running with Trump again. Yeah. Trump didn't want Mike Pence anymore. Notice how he doesn't have the same vice president.
Well, this is the thing. And now obviously Trump's got his new vice president, which will be interesting to see. What happened with Matt Gaetz? What happened there? Because wasn't he put forward for a role and then undone or stopped or decided not to?
So Matt Gaetz was always the long shot. Some people think that Trump put Matt as like cannon fodder. This is the easy one that people can shoot down. I think he withdrew.
He was going for Attorney General, wasn't it?
He was going for Attorney General. There was there was a sort of human trafficking question.
Yeah.
I read some of the details of the case. It's not really that interesting to me. He didn't really have a chance in hell of getting that position, and he was by far like the craziest pick. He was one of those insane MAGA House Republicans that sort of live in the House right now. But I mean, back to why JD Vance was picked by Trump, I can speculate, but it's regarding this thing that we talked about with Pence, is that JD Vance said categorically that he would have gone through with Trump's plan.
Isn't JD Vance just a complete loyalist to Trump? Whatever Trump wants, he'll do. Like, would you not think so?
You say that, but I think JD Vance is much smarter. He is a loyalist, but by choice, because there were leaked text messages from JD that were he was calling Trump Hitler. He himself knew like Trump's sort of fascistic tendencies. I know that word has been historically, thrown around too liberally in the past, but to some extent, I think it does apply here. So JD Vance is not stupid. No. JD Vance is in this because of for power.
And do you think JD Vance is going to go for it come the next presidential election, then sort of go vice and then top seat with Trump's love and endorsement and everything like that? Or do we think they're even going to get that far?
I just want to plant a seed in your head, Matthew, right now. There's nothing in the Constitution saying that JD Vance couldn't run next election cycle and Donald Trump could be his vice president.
And then you end up with what's happening in Russia, where Putin's president and he's put someone in as prime minister, then we'll conveniently swap and at the same time we'll pass all the powers over. Then Putin is prime minister for however many years and then goes back up to president, So are you saying maybe we could have something like that? Trump could sort of rip up the rule book and say, right, we're going to keep going back and forth for as long as you're loyal to me.
It's funny how these constitutional games work, isn't it? But yeah, potentially.
There was even a question. I would very quickly before we move. There was even a question whether Trump could rewrite bits of the Constitution, because after the election, it was such a enormous win, such a massive win. People actually thought, look, he could get to that 2/3 threshold, and that would mean he could rewrite the Constitution, get rid of the 2-term limit, all that sort of stuff. Do you think? I've not read it in that much detail. Is there anything stopping Trump having 2 terms now? Because he's not had 2 terms sequentially. So what's the what is the legal argument or the interpretation of the Constitution? Is it you can have 2 terms and that's it? Or is it you can have 2, it has to be 2 sequential terms?
Well, it would be unprecedented, so we don't know, especially with this Supreme Court. Yeah. The Supreme Court seems to rule quite interestingly in terms of stretching the Constitution, in terms of criminal immunity. So the answer to that is I don't know. We'll have to see. It's one of those questions like in the UK. What would happen if the king doesn't want to sign off on a law? Yeah, I mean.
Let's see. We talked about Mike Pence. Probably a good thing to dig up some of Trump's old frenemies. Do we think Trump's going to take revenge over the next 4 years? Do we think that's his agenda?
In terms of take revenge, it depends on who. But yes, in general, yes. I mean, he's already pursuing a civil case against a pollster in Iowa that massively predicted a Kamala sort of landslide. I think something to that extent. And he's claiming that this was an intentional bid to swing the election against Trump. And this civil case is a little bit worrying, along with the other things that he's sort of done in the past, talking about increasingly putting pressure on the media.
Yeah.
Increasingly holding them to account. Yeah, and his new FBI director, who will presumably be as as Kash Patel, has also said they're going to tighten up libel laws in terms of the media. And they're gonna. I think they are going to go after the media viciously. But that's just in terms of newspapers and cable news, I guess. In terms of new media, I mean, Trump basically has all of that covered. I mean, I agree with Joe Biden when he says there's sort of an oligarchy forming in the US. We have Zuckerberg kissing the ring. Yeah. We have Elon Musk inside the tent. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's sort of worrying.
I mean, Elon is an interesting one, right? I love the fact that now, just for a bit of extra money, I can pay for all these features and stuff like that. That beforehand you had to go and get thousands and thousands and thousands of followers to, and then some guy in some office far away in America would recognize you, and there you go, or whatever. But it sort of turned on its head, because obviously Elon now getting involved here in British politics, very much being the person who's led to Labour allowing there to be more inquiries into the grooming gang scandal. And we've seen as well, coming out full in support for reform. 1 minute loves Nigel Farage, next minute says that reform needs a new leader. Nigel Farage, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, are they going to be a happy throuple?
I don't think so. I don't know. Instinctively, I say no, because there's already a lot of tension there. However, it's interesting the extent that Elon Musk wants to intervene in European political affairs.
Yeah.
I think it's, I like odds on him. I think he doesn't really care that much about the Charlie grooming scandal, solely because he doesn't know much about it. He's saying a lot of things that aren't really true. If he really cared, he could do some research into people like Tommy Robinson, who he's supporting, who he's spreading a lot of fake information and saying that he's in prison for free speech.
Well, actually, he's in prison for breaking court conditions, fraudulent mortgage payments, and a host of other things. So,
yeah, not only that, he pled guilty. So even Tommy Robinson thinks he should be in jail. So I mean, I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, I saw an interesting thing about EU wanting to start a new satellite program, and start a new satellite program, and obviously, this would challenge Elon's Starlink. So he wants to sort of influence governments that are more amiable to him, so he can sort of persuade them to just purchase the source of the Starlink rather than set up their own thing. I mean, sure, it's fine, but it's the sort of government collusion with governments that I thought we didn't like.
So, I mean, do you think Trump's second term will mean anything much for, obviously, Nigel Farage? Good friend of Donald Trump, praised a lot during the election campaign. Nigel Farage was offering to basically become an ambassador and a bridge between America and the UK here with Keir Starmer. I mean, do you think Trump's second term will do Farage good or do him bad, as they obviously both come up for election again near enough the same time as we get through to, 2029?
I think Nigel Farage should focus on Claxon. I think, you should stay there.
The less said about reform, the better. I get the story. Don't worry. Look, I want to leave the last word for you. What's your thoughts on what is going to be the takeaway for the next 4 years? What are you hoping for? What do you want to see? And what do you expect?
What we're going to see is a lot of unprecedented things happening.
I hate that word. Don't use that word. It's been used so much. Everything's blooming unprecedented now, apparently.
I mean, it really is now.
True.
What we didn't see in the last Trump term was a lot of things happening. Not much happened. Not much legislation got through. You didn't really do much apart from the odd executive order. He has COVID, which allowed him to implement a lot of powers on the border, and
there was lots of talk, and then the establishment stopped him, sort of thing.
Yeah, what we need to understand is he didn't understand the system then.
Yeah,
he didn't understand the importance of appointments. He appointed just Republican. He appointed mainstream Republicans, establishment Republicans, people that, regardless of their political spectrum, value the Constitution.
Yeah. And now he knows that this time. He knows
that this time. He knows that he can't get what he wants if he just appoints establishment Republicans. He needs to appoint people that are loyal to him personally.
Yeah.
People who will disregard the Constitution. Because just remember, if any of his cabinet does illegal things on Trump's behalf, Trump can just pardon them. He's pardoned Roger Stone. He's pardoned Steve Bannon. He's pardoned basically all of his criminal conspirators that were involved with his fake electors plot, his insurrection. He's probably going to pardon a lot of the January 6th insurrectionists.
Will he pardon himself?
He doesn't have to. He has criminal immunity.
No, but obviously, wipe the slate clean for him.
It doesn't matter. The Supreme Court has given the president criminal immunity for official acts.
True. True.
And what an official act is debatable. Very debatable. If the Supreme Court can't pass official acts for unofficial acts, we don't know. The thing is, this is a new ruling, and we just don't know. Trump could order SEAL Team 6. The orders to SEAL Team 6 as Commander-in-Chief is a core power of the president. He could order SEAL Team 6 to take out Kamala Harris, because
Keir
it
Starmer.
is necessary for national security.
Right, yeah.
And this not only is not not only would he not be criminally liable for this, the Supreme Court wouldn't even be able to probe into it. Like the DOJ, the justice system couldn't even ask questions about this.
Let's
we'll
right.
see.
Let's to try not end this note on there being a hit on Kamala Harris or Keir Starmer or anyone else that we don't really agree with. Look, are you going to be watching the inauguration?
Yes, I'm going to enjoy it. Despite what I said, I am a fan of Trump. This cap that I'm wearing, this is from 2016. I'm a veteran.
You are. This is a cap from my stag do. So for me, I'm a newbie to the club. But no, look, thank you very much, Gabriele, for coming on. I'm always grateful. Enjoy the inauguration tomorrow. I'll obviously have my popcorn and be eating mine. Are you going to go full American tomorrow? Coke, full fat Coke, hot dogs, and all the above, or we'll just put it on the TV?
Maybe we'll see. I'll definitely stand to the anthem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Oh, anyways, thank you so much, Gabriele, for coming on. I'm Matthew. That's Gabriele. We've been discussing the inauguration of Donald Trump as we enter 2.0. Make sure you go to VoteWatch, join in, get involved in the debate, get in the comments, say what you want. Frankly, we don't mind. And yeah, let's see what Trump 2.0 brings. Cheers.